Dolly, I'm a loudmouth, so anytime you need me to yell at you,
I appreciate that. We like that.
What about you?
Okay.
I know what I want to talk about.
It matters to one of the audience.
Supernatural. Supernatural.
Supernatural?
Supernatural.
Supernatural. Hi.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. My name is Reid. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's your first name?
Alanna.
Alanna. That's right. Appreciate it. Cool. So, does anything supernatural exist? Do we need to define the word supernatural? What do we mean by that?
Out of this world.
Out of this world?
Otherworldly.
Does anything otherworldly exist? Do you want to put on headphones? Does that matter to you?
Yeah, I should probably do that because I can't hear it.
Yeah, we wiped them off. So
oh, there we go.
That should be a little bit easier to hear. So, how's this testing? Hello, that's probably better. So we're really asking if supernatural means something out of this world, something otherworldly. Does anything otherworldly exist? Is that a better way to ask the question?
What was the original question?
Does anything supernatural exist?
Yes and yes.
Are those the same things?
Yeah, same thing.
Same things.
Same thing.
Which is a better word for you for this question?
Supernatural.
Supernatural?
Yeah.
What's the best example of a supernatural thing?
Well, something that's natural, but it's super.
What is an example of those things?
Unexplained phenomena.
Unexplained phenomena?
Yeah.
What's the best example of an unexplained phenomenon that exists?
UFOs is a great one.
UFOs.
What happens after you die? The mystery.
Okay.
There's the text for the live show.
Yeah, all the great mysteries.
Sorry, 1 second. What was the last thing you said, sir?
All the great mysteries.
All the great mysteries.
Yeah.
UFOs, what happens after we die.
Things that you can't define with science or philosophy.
Okay.
Or you can maybe try to define it with philosophy, but the philosophy generally
Gotcha.
accepts that you cannot understand it.
Want to talk about whether UFOs exist or whether there's an afterlife?
Nope, I don't want to. I just want to know that there's supernatural things that I don't understand.
You just want to know that
and
those
I
things are out
accept that
there?
they exist.
Okay.
And they could be anything because it's my brain cannot comprehend certain things. Human brain cannot comprehend certain things, so therefore it must be something else, supernatural.
Something else supernatural,
Yeah.
things that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
That are otherworldly, that are out there.
Yeah.
And these things exist like UFOs or potentially other things.
I don't know even about UFOs or what, but I just definitely know that there's things that we can't explain.
There are things, just stuff that we don't know
Right.
that we can't explain.
Like before electricity was discovered, people couldn't explain it.
Uh-huh. And similar to that, there's other things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. How confident are you that those things exist right now, say on a scale from 0 to 100?
I would say 95.
95?
Yeah.
All right. And what gets you to that level of confidence? What are the main reasons why?
Because everything exists. As if we think of it, it exists because it's existing in our minds.
Okay, if we define things existing, if we think of it, that's like a way of bringing it,
Yeah, putting it in a package.
Okay, could we redefine exist to mean like things that are outside of our mind that only those would be. Let's use the word existence in that sense. In reality, outside our mind, not just a thought, not just imagination, something that's like it's a thing that exists in reality.
What is that?
It's one of his juggling balls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know what.
It's like made of metal.
Made of chains or something.
He juggles chains.
These chain balls, I assume. Yeah.
He juggles chains.
Yeah, he probably juggles them.
Yes, but they're made of rings.
That's so cool.
Geometric rings.
Sorry.
So
See?
if we.
Like I can't juggle and he can.
So if we mean exist in that way, does anything supernatural exist?
Yes.
Okay. And your reason for that is, again, sorry, what's the main reason for that?
Humility as a human.
Humility as a human. Okay. Are the more, if humans have become more humble, does that mean more supernatural things exist? How do those things relate?
No, they don't coincide like that. It's not like an up and down kind of thing. I just think that like when you realize that we're alive and we get to kind of not know the answer to some things, that's really cool.
It's cool to be humble,
Not
humble
knowing everything
and
and
not
that,
knowing.
yeah,
Okay.
and
you're,
respect the not knowing.
and you're saying supernatural things exist. These are things that we don't know yet, unknown things.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to get to something specific. This seems, I mean,
Well, you asked the question.
well, supernatural things. The
Can we do a different question?
The question was,
I failed
does anything supernatural exist?
I said, yeah.
And depending on how we define supernatural, how could we know if anything supernatural exists?
Because we don't know what happens when you die. We don't know what happens to your consciousness when you're in dream states. We still don't know where things begin. Tiny particles. Like,
yeah.
There's things we don't know.
Yeah.
If we had all the answers to everything,
If we keep going, sorry.
Oh, that's it. If we had all the answers, then I would say, oh yeah, maybe this, but we don't know.
If we knew everything, like, rule out supernatural things don't.
Ununderstood, natural beyond natural, supernatural. The term itself exists, therefore it exists.
Therefore, it exists.
To define the things that we don't understand.
For example, like unicorns.
Right.
That word exists.
Right. Like, I don't believe in unicorns, but I understand the concept of somebody believing in a unicorn.
Yeah. And I guess the question is, like, do unicorns actually exist? Does anything supernatural actually exist?
But that's the thing. I don't think.
Is that a set different kind of category of thing?
There's been science now that are like, oh, it's a narwhal's horn. That was probably found. So that's kind of being reduced in its possibility. Okay. So it limits it down. Mm-hmm. But then again, they're still finding dinosaurs we didn't know about, and they're still finding weird birds and crap that we didn't, like dinosaurs had feathers. Who knew?
Yeah. So we're still learning a lot about the world and reality.
We're very much just scratching the surface of what